Have you ever found yourself just staring at a massive spreadsheet, all those numbers, and wondering, where's the story here? If that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. In this explainer, we're going to dive into how you can transform that raw data into powerful visual stories that actually reveal what's going on underneath.
Seriously, think about it. You've done all the hard work. You collected the data, you cleaned it up. It's all just sitting there, right in a table, packed with potential. But right now, it's just a bunch of numbers. The real insight, the actual story, is kind of hidden. So the big question is, how do you make that story pop? And that brings us to this really common issue. Your data is basically hiding all its secrets right there in plain sight. Every answer you're looking for your big AI project, it's probably in there. But without the right tools, it just looks like a bunch of noise.
I mean, let's be real. Just staring at a wall of numbers and trying to spot a trend with your own eyes is, well, it's almost impossible. That spreadsheet isn't an insight, it's a challenge, and it's basically begging for a visual solution. So, how do we tackle this challenge? Well, it's time to meet the tool that's about to become your absolute best friend for digging up all those hidden data stories.
Say hello to Matplotlib. If you're working with Python for AI or machine learning, this is, without a doubt, a must-know library. It's the foundation for creating pretty much any chart you can possibly think of, which makes it absolutely critical for what we call exploratory data analysis. You know, that first step where you're just trying to figure out what your data is all about.
You know, I absolutely love this analogy. Matplotlib isn't about giving you a bunch of rigid, pre-made charts. Not at all. It's like an artist's toolkit. It hands you the fundamental pieces, the pencil, the brushes, the canvas, and gives you total control to build the exact picture your data needs to tell its story.
Okay, enough talk. The absolute best way to understand Matplotlib is to just see it in action. So let's do it. Let's walk through creating your very first plot, step by step.
It really is this simple. It breaks down into just 4 basic steps. First, you got to make sure it's installed. Then, you import the piece you need, which is usually PyPlot. After that, you just define your data, your X and Y values, and finally, you tell Matplotlib to plot it and then show it. That's pretty much the whole thing. So here's what that looks like in actual code. See, we import matplotlib.pyplot and give it that classic nickname PLT. Then we create 2 super simple lists for our X and Y coordinates. The real magic happens right here with plt.plotxy. That's the command that tells Matplotlib, hey, draw some lines connecting these dots. And finally, plt.show makes the visual you just created actually appear on your screen.
And boom, this is the result. Instantly, those abstract numbers become something real, something you can see. Now, the code we just saw makes a line plot, but with one tiny little change, you could get a bar chart just like this. Either way, you can immediately see the trend, right? It's going up. This is that aha moment, where a boring list of numbers finally becomes a genuine insight.
But look, a simple plot like that is really just the beginning. Let's build on this, because Matplotlib has a whole gallery of different plot types, each one designed to tell a different kind of story.
You can think of these as your different narrative tools. Got data over time? A line plot is perfect. Want to see if 2 things are related? A scatter plot is your best friend. Comparing different groups? Bar plot. Trying to see how your data is spread out? That's a histogram. Each type of plot is designed to answer a different kind of question.
You know, making a basic plot is one thing, but turning that plot into something that actually persuades people and informs them, that is all about customization. A good plot just shows the data, but a great plot tells a story, and it does that by guiding where the viewer looks. This is where Matplotlib's real power is. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got a basic scatter plot. Okay, it shows a pattern, but that's about it. Now look at the right. We've added a title, we've got labels on our axes, we've even used color and size to show other dimensions of the data. See, it's not just data points anymore. It's a rich, informative graphic. Now, it's really important to know that Matplotlib almost never works alone. Its true power really gets unlocked when you pair it up with the other giants of the data science world, especially libraries like Pandas and NumPy. And this right here is a total game changer. If your data is already sitting in a Pandas data frame, which, let's face it, it probably is for any machine learning project, you don't have to pull the data out into separate lists. Nope. You can just call the .plot method right on the data frame itself. One line of code, and boom, you get a professional-looking chart. It's just so incredibly efficient. And you can take this way further. When you're working with more complex models, like maybe visualizing a loss function or seeing the relationship between 3 different variables, Matplotlib can create these absolutely stunning and super insightful 3D surface plots just like this one.
So this brings up a really good question. If all these other libraries exist, why should you start with Matplotlib? Well, this table shows you exactly why. Matplotlib is the foundation. It gives you the maximum possible flexibility. In fact, other really popular libraries like Seaborn are actually built on top of Matplotlib. So when you learn Matplotlib, you're actually learning the engine that powers a ton of other visualization tools.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground, right? From the problem of data hiding in plain sight all the way to creating these awesome 3D plots. So let's just wrap it all up with the key things you should really remember.
First off, Matplotlib is an absolutely essential skill for anybody in AI and machine learning, period. Second, it gives you complete control and customization over your visuals. It also integrates perfectly with the tools you're probably already using, like pandas. And finally, it's the professional standard for creating plots for everything from your own analysis to your final project reports.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. You now have the toolkit you need to turn that boring wall of numbers into a clear, compelling story. The only question left is, what incredible hidden patterns are you going to reveal in your own data?